right, guys. I don't know if this is going to be everybody tonight or not. I'm showing 5 people in the chat. I'm showing 6 people on the live stream. I don't know where they're at. Maybe they got nothing to say, but be nice to know you're here. Hop on and at least say hello. Let Todd and Brian know you're in with us. Got more snow coming. Woo. All right, guys. Tonight I just want to talk about how much retirees actually spend in retirement. Not not what the internet says. If you haven't done any research, you'd be shocked. Some of the quotes and stats and that I've been getting off the internet, which I just find absolutely ridiculous. The very first thing I want to say, found on the internet, retirees need 6,000 to 7,000, up to $10,000 a month to retire in comfort. I'm sorry, but folks, that's just absurd. That's absolutely ridiculous. That's about 78 at $6,500 a month. Guys, that's $78,000 a year. Yeah, I can live pretty comfortable on that. I don't live anywhere close to that number though. What I don't understand is where are they getting these numbers? It's just ridiculous. What I found out through my own research and through talking to other retirees here in the park, um, most retirees are living on $3,000 to $4,000 a month. I know I am, so I don't know if that makes me typical or average or what. But has anybody else heard that it takes $7,000 a month to retire and live in comfort? Todd, I'm still saving money too. Um, my air conditioning bill's killing me, but I don't understand where people come up or where these experts or gurus or whatever you want to call them, where are they coming up with this $6,000 and $7,000 a month to retire on? It's absolutely crazy. Uh, and not exactly. It's not everybody. I think what they're doing is they're taking a very small poll and then they're getting an average from that. Well, the problem is they're talking to all these wealthy people. I should look down here where I'm actually on screen. They're talking to all these wealthy people, then they're talking to a few of us, I'm going to say average folks, and then they're averaging it together. Well, they're not getting a true picture. If you want to, yeah, I agree, Brian. 10,000 definitely sounds exaggerated. It's got to be wealthy retirees. That's that. What else can it be? I mean, that's just crazy. I know there's if they live in California. I know there's retirees out there that they're making all kinds of money. They made all kinds of money during their working years, so of course they're going to have a really good retirement. And if they've got investments that are paying off, they might be making 10,000 a month. I don't think they're the rule. They may be the exception, but I think, and again, I'm no expert by any stretch. I'm just an old man living on retirement. I think the average retiree is living somewhere between $3,000 and $4,000 a month income. But I want to know what the true numbers are. What are people actually living on? But tonight, besides talking about what it takes to retire or how much you earn in retirement, let's talk about things in retirement that expenses that go down in retirement, expenses that I think go up in retirement, and how you deal with it. Because we've got both. We've got expenses that are going to go down. Without a doubt, there's going to be expenses that go down, but we also have expenses that are going to go up. So hopefully by the end of the live stream, maybe we'll have a better grasp on what some of those expenses are. Yes, absolutely depends a lot on where you live. If you live in the coast of Mississippi, it's going to be a lot less than living in Florida. I don't know what it's going to compare to Minnesota or even London for that matter, but anyway, here's what the data or data. No, I think it's data. Here's what the data actually says. According to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, households age 65 and over spend about $57,800 a year. Folks, that works out to $4,800 a month. One, I don't make $4,800 a month. Two, my expenses obviously aren't anywhere near $4,800 a month. I guess I'm not average because I make a lot. I make less than that. Let me put it that way. Going back to these statistics and the averages. Let's say, for instance, they survey two people. How much do you make a month? I make $2,000 a month. How much do you make? I make $12,000 a month. Okay, that's enough. We've got enough information. So they add those two totals together and they divide it by two. That's $7,000 a month. That's nowhere close. That's more than double. Brian, what doesn't sound right? 1,800? Oh, I agree. It's asinine. There's just no way. But that's an average. So it depends on how many people they survey and ask these questions to. That's going to tell you whether it's a true number or it's outrageous. It really is. So when researchers look at typical retirees, a different picture starts to appear when you start looking at the real numbers. Research from the Federal Reserve suggests many retirees land around 3,000 to 4,000, just like what we were saying. I really believe now we're starting to talk about real numbers, not pie in the sky or made up numbers. And I think why people are living on $3,000 to $4,000 because you've got several major expenses that are going to shrink or just completely go away once you start your retirement. So why spending often drops off in retirement is a couple different reasons. And this, the statistic you just quoted, a median and mean averages can easily be distorted. I, I think we've already put that one to rest, but yeah, I agree with you 100%. Again, if you want the numbers to go a certain way, you're going to talk to a certain amount of people in a certain area. If you spend all your time surveying wealthy people, then you're going to get some outrageous numbers. If you spend your time, let's say they come to my mobile home park, there's 850 houses here. I'm sure they're going to get a lot smaller number if they surveyed my neighbors and myself for that matter. I want to live cheaper. Todd, we all want to live cheaper. Stick with me, brother. We'll try to figure out how to do this. Here, I want to talk about something that doesn't get explained very well online whatsoever. It's just ridiculous. I think it's ridiculous, anyways. This is my opinion only. Many expenses tied to your working life, they simply disappear once you retire. So let me give you an internet simple example. Imagine someone before retirement earning $5,500 a month. Their monthly expenses break down to living expenses, everything that they pay out, $3,500 a month. Then they put $1,200 into retirement savings. Then they pay $800 a month in taxes, and that totals up to 5,500. Guys, this is ridiculous. We can put anything we want to on a piece of paper and say this is the way it works. I don't know anybody that ever put $1,200 a month during their working years into a savings account or into a retirement account, if that's the way you want to look at it. Um, anybody on here? Anybody on here during your working years? Did you ever put $1,200 a month um, into a retirement account? I want to know what anybody's got to say on that one because I just don't get it. I really don't get it, folks. Um, but I can say, well, we made $10,000 a month, and my monthly expenses were $6,200 a month, and I put $2,000 into savings, and my taxes were X amount, and yeah, that equals to 10,000. Well, I agree, Brian. There's no way. There's no way in this world. All right, now I'm getting ready to say something. I'm probably going to get into a little bit of trouble, but you know, I'm going to say it anyways. When experts, and again, this is coming off the internet, when experts say people save 10 to 20% of their income during their working years, I want to call BS on that. Guys, there's no way. There's no way a working person can afford to put 10 to 20% of their earnings into a retirement fund every month. I mean, come on. I can't do it, or I couldn't do it. Let me put it that way. Maybe that's why I'm in the shape I'm in. I don't know. Yeah, I do know. That's probably very true. Why? But yeah, it just doesn't work. Um, there's too many ordinary people, and I don't want to say average or typical, but ordinary people. We were all ordinary people. Unless you were running a business or in charge of 1,000 people. Yeah, I didn't either. There's no way. Absolutely, there's no way. Uh, during working years, they're not saving thousands of dollars a month. There is no way in this world you can convince me that the typical average Joe is putting that much money into savings every month and not struggling. Yeah, again, Todd, you're right. It depends on how much you make and where you live. But like I say, unless you're the president of a corporation or a company or you're running your own business, I I don't see it. Todd, you raised 4 kids. I raised three. There's no way. I agree. There's no other way to say it, folks. I was just trying to survive life. I had a mortgage. I had kids. I had car repairs. I had car insurance, home insurance, health insurance, groceries. God forbid you want to eat, something. Most people during their working years are simply trying to do the best they can. And this $6,000 to $7,000 a month, hogwash. I'm sorry. I don't know any other way to say it. It's ridiculous. So again, where are these experts getting these numbers from? And how do they sleep at night when they get these numbers? Anyway, I want to give you three examples of how and where your expenses start to disappear once you do retire. Three categories where your expenses just go away. Retirement contributions, right off the bat. If you were putting money into a savings, maybe it's a 401k at work, maybe it's an IRA, maybe it's just a typical savings plan. Worked my butt off just to keep like normal. Absolutely. And that's all I could do was work my butt off to keep normal. So yeah, you may have put money into a 401k. Hopefully, if you were, the company was matching at least a percentage. I think the biggest percent I had was like 6%. Um, I doubt it was. I doubt anybody was doing 10 to 20%. There's no way. There's just no flipping way anybody can be putting that much money in. Um, I think I was doing good to put $30 away each week, each paycheck. Let me put it that way. That might have been $120 a month if I was lucky. But whatever you were having taken out during your working years, once you're retired, that stops. Unless you're unless you're just continuing to put money into savings. I am. I know that. I've got my budget whittled down enough that I'm able to continue to put money into the bank, thankfully. Talk about work related expenses. Those costs go away the minute you stop working. And bottom line is, a lot of money goes into simply being able to go to work. Um, Gasoline. You got to be able to get to work. So gas is going to cost you something. I was spending $125 for fuel just to get back and forth to work. Now that I'm retired, I'm paying $35. At the most, I'm paying $35 for gas for my car. I'm saving $90 a month. Work clothes. In retirement, are your groceries, clothing, and entertainment bills expenses reduced a lot? No. Well, yeah, they can be. Um, Depends on how extravagant you want to be when you go to the grocery store, or do you eat out a lot? Do you go places that you have to have really nice dress clothes? You know, I have typically a saying that most people that know me could could quote. Brian's just a t-shirt and shorts kind of guy. Now I do have some dress clothes if I have to go to a wedding or a funeral or something like that, but um, my retirement expenses definitely went down. So if you had to buy work clothes, let's say you had to wear a uniform and you had well, most places supplied it. But let's say you had a certain dress code, you dealt with the public a lot, uh, and you had to have a professional look about you. Then you had clothes you had to buy. If you were in an industry, you you may have a company supplied uniform, but most of them don't supply work boots. So there are clothing expenses that are going to go down once you retire. I was in sales my last, I don't know, 10 years before I retired. And I was on the road a lot. I went in and sent workers to work. Then I went out and spent the rest of my day on the road trying to drum up more business. So I hated making my lunch. I ate out every day. Now, I don't remember what I spent. This was back in the 90s, early 2000s. But if you figure $5 a meal, be right back. Probably had to go answer the door or phone or go to the bathroom. BRB means be right back. So if you eat out 5 days a week, 52 weeks out of the year, $5 a meal, you're talking $1,250 a year just eating out. And that's at $5. I don't know how many people can eat for $5. Now, if you had one of those jobs where you had to wear nice dress clothes, maybe a suit, women had to wear a nice dress or whatever, you may have dry cleaning expenses. That could easily, for one person, get $40 a month. Um, if you worked in a large city like New York or Dallas, Texas, maybe Los Angeles, San Diego, maybe London. I don't know. I don't know what the park. I know the parking in some of those cities is pretty rough, so you may have to pay for parking. Can get pretty expensive, I would imagine. Bottom line is, most people are going to pay anywhere from $300 to $800 a month just to go to work. Before you've earned a penny, you're going to pay $300 to $800 a month just so you can get a paycheck. Once retirement gets here, like I said, I cut my gas bill down by $90. But most of these expenses are just going to they're going to disappear. And if you don't want to spend a lot of money for clothing, shop at thrift stores. Shop at, secondhand stores, if that's what you want to call it. It could be the same as a thrift store. Yeah, you still need to have a few decent wedding slash funeral slash night on the town clothes, but they're not going to take nearly as much room in your closet as your beating around jeans and t-shirts or polo shirts or whatever kind of shirt you're going to wear. Again, once I retired, my gas went down $90 a month easily. And today in my area, if you go to McDonald's and buy buy the cheapest Happy Meal, I mean, we're talking the least expensive thing you can get on the menu. You're looking at $6.50 for what? A hamburger, a small drink, and small fry. So when I say, $5 for lunch back in the 90s, it was probably at least seven, if not more. And the third way that we can dry clean is a rip off, yeah, wherever you live. Haven't done that in years. I take a packed lunch to work and I'm saving $20, $40 a week. Brian, that you would never wear secondhand clothes. There's some that I wouldn't wear, but again, like insurance, it's a personal choice, and I respect your opinion. No problem. Um, so just by cutting these things out, you're saving $1,000 easy. And I'm sure I didn't even hit all of them. So the last one I want to talk about is payroll taxes. You know, that was invisible. You never even thought about it, but they were taking taxes out of your check, plain and simple. When you were working, they took out over 6.5% right off the top just for Medicare and Social Security. And if you were on a salary of 30,000 a year, you're paying almost 2,300 a year just for taxes. Well, see, I don't shop for new clothes that often. I don't even shop for used clothes that often. I wear it until it falls apart until my wife starts hiding it and throwing it away for me. So, but once you retire, you're not paying payroll taxes anymore. So there you go. You've automatically taken a big drop, and like I say, you're looking at on a $30,000 a year salary, which is pretty low, almost $2,300 a year just in taxes. So you can look at it like this, really. If you paid $1,500 a year for gas, $1,250 a year for lunches out while you were working, say $500 a year for clothes and slash dry cleaning, and you're paying almost $2,300 a year in taxes, you're already saving $5,500 a year. That's not bad. I don't think that's bad at all. All right, last section I've got for us. Three expenses that are going to increase in your retirement. Um, First one's the biggest one. I don't know why I'm starting with that one, but that's what wives are for. Okay, we're not going to touch that one, Brian. Healthcare is the category that almost always raises with age. You know, the older we get, the more healthcare we're going to need. Um, Employee benefit. I'm sorry. Employee Benefit Research Institute estimates the average retired couple may spend hundreds of thousands of dollars over the course of retirement just on medical costs. Now, the key word in that sentence was may. You may spend hundreds of thousands. Depends on how you live your life. If you're living a healthy life, you may not need to spend that kind of money. If you're eating everything in sight and you're a couch potato, yeah, you're going to have some expenses. Um, I'm trying to get healthy. I'm eating better. I've already lost 10 pounds in the last 3 weeks. Going to the gym 3 times a week. I've got 6 granddaughters. I'd like to stick around long enough to see at least a few of them get married. And I got a ways to go. Yes, Subway footlongs used to be $5. What are they now? I don't even know. I haven't been to a Subway since they were $5. Um, Come on, Todd. How much are Subways? What's a BMT go for now? Or BTM, whatever it's called. I don't even remember. Anyway, um, monthly health care expenses. You've got to pay for Medicare Part B. You got to pay for drug plan. You got to pay for Medigap if you so choose that. You got to pay for a dental plan. You got to pay for a vision plan. You got to pay for prescriptions. So you're looking at anywhere from $400 to $900 a month. Now I'm guessing that's for a couple. I hope. If it's not, God help us all. $400 to $900 a month. But there are some ways to get around it, and this is not a plug for Advantage plans. I hate talking about insurance because people want to get into a debate, and I don't want to do that. I say every time insurance is a personal choice. You got to do what's right for you, and I got to do what's right for me. Um, but personally, my wife and I chose an Advantage plan. The Advantage plan is administered by Medicare, but it's not Medicare. It's run by a private insurance company. Medicare, you pay, let me see if I got this right here. I have a Medicare plan that costs me $20 a month. So $40 for my wife and I. Basic Medicare for one person this year, it went up to $206 a month that you pay for Part B. Part A is paid for, Part B, you pay for it yourself. $206 a month instantly comes off your Social Security check. So, 206 per person, you look at $2,400 a year. If there's a couple living in the house, granted, your income is going to hopefully double, but you're still looking at out of pocket right off the bat with just paying for Plan B, $4,900 a year for two people. An Advantage plan costs $40 a month for two people, or $480 a year. And I have a $10 copay to see a specialist. Let me give you an example. Last year in 2025, I think August, September, one of those two, I had to have eye surgery on my left eye. I had a torn retina. So my doctor sent me to an eye doctor. So I don't have a copay when I see my regular doctor. To see the eye doctor cost me $10. He sent me to a ophthalmologist, I think it is, and that cost me $10. And they said we got to do surgery. Your retina's torn. We got to reattach it. So we scheduled. It was day surgery at the hospital. So it was $10 to see the ophthalmologist. My hospital bill was $564. I had to pay $10 for one prescription of eye drops, and I had 6 follow-ups with the eye doctor at no charge. They were all covered by insurance. So to have my retina reattached and glued in place, whatever. Basically, you're looking at 560, 500, less than $600. And other than I got to wear glasses, everything's fine. So, also with our Advantage plan, and I can't talk about Medicare because I don't know enough about it. With our Advantage plan, because my wife and I are both type 2 diabetics, we are a at-risk patient, I think they're called. We each we each get $70 a month in a grocery card. It's a debit card. They reload it every month with $70 for us to go to the grocery store. So combined, we get $140 a month for groceries. So that helps our grocery budget immensely. That's almost $1,700 a year that we get towards grocery shopping. Hello, JJ. Thank you. Yeah, hit that like button and subscribe. Um, another benefit we get through this Advantage plan is we both get $90 worth of over the counter medical and health supplies each and every month. Basically, anything that you can get from, and I'm going to mention our local pharmacies down here: Walgreens, CVS, Walmart pharmacy, if you want to go that route. Anything you can get from a pharmacy, we get $180 a month free. Now, granted, some of the prices that they quote are a little bit higher than going into Walmart and picking something up, but I look at it as free supplies. Band-Aids, first aid cream, eye drops, toothpaste, toothbrushes, shampoo, soap, diabetic socks, medical ID bracelets. Man, you pretty much name it, and it's in this catalog. All you got to do is you place an order. Within 2 weeks, it shows up at your front door. Now, back to the internet. Some of these internet experts say there's trade-offs when you have an Advantage plan. You have to use a doctor that's in network, which means you can't travel unless you give them pre-authorization, not pre-authorization, pre-warning you're going to be out of town. Let's say, for instance, we decided we're going to go out to Arizona and I get hurt. If I go to the emergency room, we're covered. If I get a cold and want to see a walk-in clinic, no. Well, that's another thing. I can go to any walk-in clinic and there's no charge whatsoever. Um, so between free groceries and free over-the-counter supplies, that's two, three, that's about $3,800 a year that we're not paying for, that we're paying $40 a month for. But again, here's the trade-off. According to the experts, Todd, I don't know, but why don't you tell us? According to the experts, you got to see an in-network doctor. I don't have a problem with that. We don't travel that much, and if we do travel somewhere, like for instance, we're going to take a cruise pretty soon. I will buy a supplemental insurance policy if something happens while we're on a cruise ship. We're in Mexico. The experts claim Advantage plans deny a lot of procedures. All right. I don't have any proof one way or the other. The only thing I know for sure, I've been on this for 3 years. My wife has been on it for 8 years. We have never been denied seeing a doctor. Hey, there you go. We've never been denied seeing a doctor. We've never been denied having any kind of procedure. My wife also had eye surgery last year. Didn't go as well. She's now blind in one eye, but uh, it didn't cost anything other than prescription and $10. So, like I said in the beginning, this is not a commercial for Advantage plans versus Medicare, folks. Everybody's got to make their own decision. I'm just telling you what we've got and what works for us. Now, as we get older and things start going wrong, will this be the plan that we want to stick with? I don't know. That's a bridge we'll have to cross when we get to it. Bottom line, and I'm going to say it again, only you can make the decision on what kind of policy you want to go with. Brian, did any of that make any sense, or did I just sound like some old man rambling on? Let me know in the chat. And like and subscribe, would you? Oh my goodness. Hey, the second way expenses go up when you retire. Anybody know what it is? Brian, I appreciate that, Brian. She's doing pretty well. The doctor says you can drive if you want to. Get out and drive. Well, trust me, she doesn't want to drive. So you're looking at Miss Barb's personal chauffeur here. and that's fine. I got no problem with it whatsoever. But I give her a hard time about it. But I say, "Come on, Miss Daisy, and let me drive you around," and she throws something at me. Anyway, the second way our expenses go up, home maintenance. Look, we're retired. We're home more often now than not. When we were working, we were hardly ever home. Now that we're home all the time, you notice things that need to be fixed or replaced or repaired just because you're here. Sometimes I wish I wasn't, but um, just things you got to take care of. Now, I'm going to jump down here a little bit. The internet experts claim you need to have 1 to 2% of your home's value set aside for home maintenance. 1 to 2% of your home's value. Let's say, for instance, your home is valued at $250,000. You only need $3,750 set aside for whatever goes wrong. Well, there again, like I said in the beginning, internet experts don't have a flipping clue what in the hell they're talking about. And I'm going to give you 3 examples right now. 2024, I put a new roof on this house. $13,000. JJ, I don't know what the purpose of saying that is. Just 3 weeks ago, I had to have a new outside air conditioning unit put in. $11,000. So again, these internet experts don't have a clue. I don't know who they're talking to, but talk to me. We've all got appliances in our house. Sooner or later, your refrigerator's going to give up the ghost. Dishwasher is going to die on you. Washer or dryer is going to quit. Maybe your water heater springs a leak. You know, this is where I always talk about having an emergency. I, I don't know if 3750 is going to cover any of that. So anyway, that's home maintenance. The last one I want to talk about, and this is, I think, has been the biggest stumbling block for me, lifestyle spending. This one surprises a lot of people because it kind of just creeps up on you. You don't even think about it. Uh, we all spend more money on things we want to do because we're home. I don't sit here and do nothing the whole day. So maybe you go out to lunch once a week with some friends. What are you looking at? $20? 25? There's $1,000 a year right there. I'm not saying don't go out to lunch with your friends, but I'd like to do that once in a while myself. Okay. Even if you go out and have coffee with your friends once a week, what's a cup of coffee cost? Unless you go to a convenience store and it's what, $2.50? What are you going to do? Sit out on the curb like a bunch of hobos? Most people are going to go to Starbucks or one of the one of the many coffee shops that are popping up all over the place, especially down here. So what are you talking? $6, $7 for a cup of coffee? I don't know. I don't. I buy coffee and drink it at home. So you're looking at like over $300 a year for coffee. And again, I don't begrudge anybody going out and having coffee with friends. Maybe I want to start a group that wants to go out and have coffee once a week. I think it'd be great as long as it's in your budget. Here's one that kills a lot of people. Doesn't kill people, but it really sets them back a lot. Hobbies, and I don't even have a number because hobbies can go from the cost of a deck of cards, $2, to a $500 set of golf clubs. You know, the price range on hobbies is from one end of the spectrum to the other. You know, there's just no way to tell. Going back to the Advantage plan that I'm on, so you will get outside and get some exercise. They also give me a $500 golf club membership if I so choose to use it. I don't play golf, so unfortunately it just goes to waste every year. But if I want to play golf, my insurance company will pay $500 a year for me to play golf. Um, so there, if you've got a hobby and you got to pay for it, and you want to play golf, you're looking at maybe $500 minimum, I would think. Let's say you decide you and your wife or you and your spouse are going to take a monthly day trip. Not spending a night or two in a hotel, but just out and back, not even counting food. You're looking at least $50, $600 a year. And that's something my wife and I are already talking about. Maybe we're going to do this. Um, Grandkids. And this is one I'll never cut. I've got six granddaughters. We did set a budget for Christmas gifts. Uh, we don't spend any more than $300 for Christmas gifts. Found a good coffee at Costco, Kirkland Colombian Coffee Supreme. Ooh, $18 for 3 pounds. Damn, that's a lot of coffee for 18 bucks. That ain't a bad deal. I'll have to go check out Costco. Maybe you want to travel. Maybe you just retired. You want to travel the next 2 or 3 years. Well, you've still got good health. Take a cruise. You're looking at $1,500. But here's the deal: none of these things are extravagant on their own, but together they can all add up. If you do all of this stuff, and this is not even counting the hobby, because God only knows what kind of price tag to put on that. You're looking at over $3,000 a year. And again, that doesn't include a hobby. So when somebody says, "Hey, you got to have $6,000 to $7,000 a month to survive retirement," come on, guys. there, there's just no way. I mean, let's get real. 6 to 7 thousand. Again, that's almost 58,000 dollars a year, maybe more. I don't know. I'm tired. You know, when people say that you need that kind of money, my first question is, who needs it? Who needs $7,000 a month to survive retirement? Now, granted, if you go on a cruise 6 months out of the year, or six times out of the year, or you play golf at the local city golf course 2 or 3 times a week, or 10 times a month, you have extravagant dining taste. You have to have the best restaurant, the best table in town. Yeah, I guess you could. I guess you really could rack up the expenses, but an ordinary retiree, a person who's just content to live life, do a few things, not get crazy. $3,000 to $4,000 a month. And I'm right in the middle of that. I'll be quite honest with you. I need $3,500 a month to pay my expenses. That's everything. And that includes putting money into savings. Brian, you should do a video about different Medicaid, Medicare options for retirees in the States with website links. The only problem is, Brian, is Medicaid and Medicare are two different programs focused on two different categories of income. It's all based on income. Medicare is for low income people. Uh, I'm sorry, Medicaid is for low income people. Medicare is for your typical ordinary retiree. JJ, absolutely. It it all boils down to living within your means. But again, someone says I need 6 to 7 thousand, or you need 6 to 7 thousand. I want to know who needs that kind of money, because across the country in the United States, from what I've seen on the internet, some retirees survive on $2,500 a month. Some people spend $8,000 a month. It's all what you're comfortable with. It's all just like JJ says. Live within your means. If your means is $8,000 a month, more power to you. If your means is $2,500 a month, God bless you. If you're surviving on $2,500 a month, God bless you. I wish I knew how to do that. I've whittled my budget down to what I feel comfortable with. So again, bottom line, I don't know too many retirees that are living on $6,000 to $7,000 a month. I know a lot of people just in my immediate area that are living on $3,000 to $4,000 a month. The biggest majority is in that 3 to 4 thousand. I don't know what else to tell people. Be careful what you read or hear or listen to on the internet. I guess I'm calling myself a pot calling the kettle black, but I'm trying to tell people the truth. So, for the few people that are on here, before I wrap this up, let me ask a question. If you feel like answering it, I'd be happy to hear the answer. What is your monthly cost to survive retirement right now? I'm at 3,500. That's what my expenses and savings cost me. 3,500. Anybody want to chime in? Let me know what they're doing. JJ, where are you watching this from? Not that it matters, just curious. Brian, I know you're a long way off being over in London, but you're more than welcome to subscribe to the channel. This is the kind of stuff I do. I try to let people know what's really going on in retirement, what it takes to survive, and things that hopefully they can avoid in retirement. JJ, you're more than welcome to join us. Wow, good for you, Brian. Way to go. Woodland, California by Sacramento. Okay. What we miss up here? JJ, you got 10 more years to go. I'm just trying to learn from you guys. Education is the best thing you can do as far as getting ready for retirement. And I think maybe I mentioned this to you a few live streams back. I'm not sure. I know I told somebody this. Save as much as you possibly can save. That's all I got really, other than next Tuesday night, which will be, I'm holding the wrong piece of paper. Next Tuesday night, March 17th at 7 p.m. will be what retirees are secretly worried about right now. That's what I plan on talking about. So, what retirees are secretly worried about right now, folks. So, that's all I've got, unless somebody's got something else they want to add real quick. Been on here for just over an hour, technically. I've been on here almost 2 hours. I guess the stream went well. Just so you're aware, I'm using Riverside, which is a live stream host. I hope I got it set up right. I hope everybody can see. I know the lighting's pretty bad in here. I apologize. As long as the volume's good and you can participate. Ooh, here we go. Thanks, Brian. I appreciate that. Oh, a month ago. Okay, great. I've already communicated with you. Sorry. The mind's a terrible thing. You got another 7 years before full retirement, but you're working part time. Okay, you just said that. Yeah. Thank you once again. Share the link with people, folks. I greatly appreciate it. I'm gonna get off here if I can figure out how to shut this thing down. So y'all have a good week. Stay steady. Keep retirement in mind. I'll talk to you next week. See you guys. Stop.